All right. Peter Thiel and the meaning of life. Let's begin with the meaning of humanness. Two quotations. John Walker writing on Ricochet, quote, "Humans have consistently shown themselves able to build machines that rapidly surpass their biological predecessors. Biology never produced anything like a steam engine, a locomotive, or an airliner. There is every reason to suppose that artificial intelligence will surpass our abilities as much as those of a Boeing 747 exceed those of a hawk." Peter Thiel in 0 to 1. Computers are complements for humans, not substitutes. What makes you so sure?
Well, I think artificial intelligence is still of this sort of strong variety that Walker talks about is still extremely far away if it will ever happen.
Is there a problem in principle? Is there some reason why, in principle, computers cannot replace us?
It's hard to say. It's certainly people would have predicted this would have happened a long time ago.
As indeed they did with those predictions you were talking about in the 60s.
So there have been a series of AI predictions that have turned out to be quite mistaken. So I think it's possible that there's something in principle that makes it harder or almost impossible for reasons that we don't yet fully understand. But I think the reality is that humans and computers are just good at very different things. They are therefore mostly complementary. And the fears that people have that they will be replaced by computers, I think are largely unfounded. You know, technology frees people up to do other things. It's scary if the computers were better than humans at absolutely everything. I think that's still very far away. That's somewhere between science fiction fantasy.
Ray Kurzweil's mistaken. The singularity is not upon us. The singularity defined as the moment when we have a machine that's smarter than we are.
Yeah, I think it's not as close, and I think his view of the future is mistaken. When one says that the singularity is near, this sort of portrays the future as this thing that just happens. It's just these exponential curves. All you need to do is sit back and eat some popcorn and watch the movie unfold. And I think it's actually, rather than talking about the future in the way in which Kurzweil does, I think it's often would be better to talk about human agency and what are we doing, what sort of future are we choosing to build? Because I think that's up to us.
Free will matters a great deal to you.
Well, it's I think,
despite your attack on the Catholic Church a moment ago, you're no Calvinist. You reject
it was an attack on the atheist church. But
all right.
But I think that I think that whenever we're too optimistic or too pessimistic about the future, I'm always nervous about those sorts of mindsets because it means that it doesn't matter what you do. If you're super optimistic, the future will take care of itself. If you're super pessimistic, we're headed to the apocalypse, nothing you can do. And extreme optimism and extreme pessimism both lead to sort of this inertia. And so I think it's always a healthier attitude to think of it as somewhat open-ended, and it's really up to us to decide what we want the future to be.
Last question or two. Peter Thiel on the meaning of life. 0 to 1. Our task today is to find ways to create the new things that will make the future not just different but better, to go from 0 to 1. Close quote. Why? Why keep at it? Surely you're not suggesting that we just, in a kind of simian overactivity, seek to acquire more and more material goods, more and more gadgets, smarter devices for the sake of smarter devices.
Well, I'm not a techno-utopian. I do not believe that technology is an absolute good. I think there are technological innovations that could be quite problematic. You can certainly cite nuclear weapons as one such innovation. But I don't think that there can be a good future in which we do not have technological progress. We have 7 billion people on this planet, and you can't go back to a Garden of Eden. You can't go back to some sort of pastoral Neolithic existence.
Okay, so
we have gone on this science technological trajectory, and having gone as far as we have to try to go further.
So there's a difference between saying 0 to 1. I'm making this up as I go along, so I'm sure I'll just be ham-fisted in trying to draw this distinction. But there's a difference between saying, lead your life this way because it's fulfilling. It's simply, you talked about the humanities, the real human. You studied philosophy. The Greeks had an idea of excellence, the well-lived life. This is one path to a well-lived life. That's one thing you seem at moments to be saying. And then you seem at other moments to be saying, we are in the most terrible jam. We have 7 billion people. We're stuck with democracy. And the only way out of this jam is right here, baby, whether we like it or not. We need technological innovation to get out of this jam.
I don't see the contradiction. I don't see the contradiction. I think. Look, I think we could be doing a lot better than we are. It's important for us to be building these technologies. It's not incompatible with people also reading Goethe or Shakespeare or Greek philosophy, and so I think you can do both. But I don't think there can be a good future without more scientific and technological progress. And this has been a motor that has driven Western civilization for the last few centuries. It would be a crazy thing for us to give this up. It's part of what's made our civilization so extraordinary, and I think to give it up would represent an incredible decline.